Hey Flosstube, Ashley here, Boogie Stitcher on YouTube, Schleesem_Boogie Stitcher on Instagram, coming to you guys with another update. So just a quick tidbit, we're going to do an update this video, and I am going to be recording a whip parade for the end of the year. I'll try and do those twice a year, one in the middle and one at the end of the year. So look for that, I don't know, around New Year's or so. But yeah, so it might be a little redundant, but it'll be nice to go through all of my projects, especially since as we've grown throughout the year, to just talk about things that I've recognized versus what I want to stitch on, and you know, all that fun jazz. So let's go ahead and just get started. So lots of stitching progress this week, but I don't think I've stitched on a ton of different projects. Just, I don't know, maybe I have. I don't know. I didn't really count when I started grabbing things. So sorry for the crinkling noise, but let's go ahead and get into this video. So I guess I'll undo all these things as well. So as I'm doing this video, I'm also going to be trying to organize some things. My husband got me some project bags for Christmas, so I can start keeping things a little bit more organized. So I'm gonna try and, I don't know, put things like with their corresponding bags. Maybe. We'll see. I will attempt to do that in this video as well. That way it'll make my recording of the whip parade a little easier. Maybe. We'll see. Alright, first up, we worked on the Warrior Girl. So last time, sorry, I'm just trying to straighten it out. Straighten it out since I took it out of the frame. Okay, so last time we saw each other, I was working on the hair. Well, I decided to go ahead and skip from the hair over and fill in some of the background. So I'm filling in some of the background of the fire. I just have a little bit here and like one color there, and this is pretty much done, and I'll be moving on. And as soon as I meet up to this point, I will then be joining up with the hair, and we'll continue the hair again. So I'm basically kind of working my way this way now to try and finish all this like portion of it. As soon as I get here, then I'll be working down. But this is what I did this time. Not a ton, but something, and it's something a little bit different than just her face, so which is kind of nice to see. So there is Warrior Girl. Okay, so next up is the cottage. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I worked on the cottage either, but we'll show it anyway, just because I love this one. All right, so last time I worked on this, I was working on the mandala right here. Right? No, the arbor. Ugh, mandala. Jeez. I was just looking at a mandala pattern. Last time I worked right here. This part right here is the roof of the cabin. And then right here is the arbor for the flowers and stuff that are at the bottom right here. And then we've got the trees, the grass and the pathway, and then the bushes. So right now I'm basically just finishing up right here, and then I'm moving over, and then we'll stitch all the way down here. So making some good progress with this one. There should be not halfway, but I'd say about a third of the way, I think. Pretty close to that. All right, put her away. Zip it back up. Try not to make a huge mess while I'm doing this. All right, there's that one. That's that. Okay, next up we have an oldie but a goodie, everybody. So I'll show the pattern picture. It's not very good since it is like one of those stamp kits, but I decided to work a little bit on my beta lion. There's like some beta fish in here, and then like a blue parrot. So I didn't put too many stitches in this time, but I did want to get some of it worked on. So last time I just had like basically right here done, so I just filled in some of this right here, right here. So again, I didn't work on it very much, but it was definitely calling to me this time, so I grabbed it, stitched on it. Okay, there's that. Another oldie but goodie. So I worked on D&D Girl a little bit. I'll go ahead and just take her out of the frame. Yeah, I'll take it out of the frame. Yeah, so worked on D&D Girl. I think I put about 400 stitches into it total. I worked on it just a couple of days. So we'll take her out. Talk about her really fast. All right, so I just worked on filling in some of her forehead right here and filling in some of the green stitches. So I filled in some of the gems right here. Yeah, I think I filled them in all of the way. Yeah, so the gems are complete. Finally. I filled in all of the gems, filled in a couple of these colors right here, and then worked a little bit on filling in the face. So I think I was just kind of filling in. That way I can work my way down to the actual eye and get to this point. And then I was going to decide what I was going to do. But here's D&D Girl. Hopefully my heater's not too loud. I have it on in my room and it's freezing in here. There's snow on the ground. Okay. Put all the snaps back. As I do my whip braid, I'm going to be kind of thinking about what I want to be working on. You know, I heard a lot of people are working on no new starts or the 22 and 22. Those types of things. I'm not going to be doing any of that. You know, I really thought about it and did my research to try and figure out if I wanted to. And after doing research, I decided it was going to be too restricting for me. So I really like to be able to have like a free day or free weekend where I can stitch whatever I want to stitch on. And that really allows me to touch some of the things that I might not have pulled out, but really need some love. Or just allow me to work on whatever I feel like it. So I have like a set whip number that I work on or have in my stash to work on throughout the week. And then my weekend, I can basically work on whatever I want. So this last weekend, I ended up working on the Tree Fairy the entire weekend and didn't work on anything else, even though that's my main whip and in my main whip stash to pick from during the week. But it was calling me. And so I just really like to be able to pick whatever I want to work on. And I don't want any of my whips to suffer or not allow me to basically stitch on them. So just, yeah. So that's what I'm going to be doing. No new purchases, at least until July, starting for my birthday. So I still have a few more days. And yeah, other than that, no other rules really. I can still have new starts because I do have patterns that haven't started yet if I really feel like it. But yeah, nothing too crazy for me. Okay. Alright, there's D&D Girl. I don't know if I stitched on this one or not. This is the stitching shelf. So I'm not sure if I stitched on her or not, but I'll show her anyway. So here she is. There she be. She's so beautiful. Again, just working on filling it or taking these threads and stitching them down so that way I can just start going down the column so I can start stitching this one by season. But again, I don't think I stitched on this since we talked about it. Excuse me, with Christmas and everything, I wasn't journaling as much as I probably should to keep track of like everything I stitched on this last time. Things were a little too chaotic. It seems like when things are chaotic, I tend to not be organized. But when things are not chaotic, I tend to be really organized. So, okay, this is Tree Fairy. So I stitched a ton on her this time. So I will go ahead and take her out of the frame for you. A ton. I stitched on her all this last weekend to give you an idea. And I've hit past the halfway point on her now, which is perfect because I started working on her October 23rd of 2021. So just this last October. and I'm already over halfway done. So my goal for her is to get her completed by the end of February, and I'm still on track for that goal. So, which is really nice. All right, since I have the back up, here's her back. I still have some threads. Every once in a while, I'll turn it around and like go through and cut off all the hanging threads, but okay, here she is. So I did all of this last like weekend, or since I've seen you. So yeah, she is gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Love the detail of her wings. I'm now stitching right here to basically finish this part of her arm. We got her knee and her shin and her arm right here. Yeah, she's looking so good. There we go. Definitely one of my favorite stitches. Okay, there she is. And I will put the frame back with her because she's my main whip. These are the project bags that my husband got me. Oh, they're so nice. Look, an 8x8 fits in there. It's amazing. Amazing. All right, there is that one. Let's see, what else? Okay, I have a couple of new starts. I think that's all that's left is new starts now. I think. Isn't that crazy? It is. Okay, new starts, everybody. Drum roll, please. Okay, so some of my most recent purchases. I got a couple of patterns on the last Haid Christmas sale. I have been waiting for that sale to purchase a couple of patterns before I went to my no purchase zone. So I will go ahead and insert a picture of Moon Charmer by Aimee Stewart. Heaven Earth Designs right here. So yes, I have been eyeing this pattern for about 6 or so months, maybe a little bit longer. Basically, ever since I started watching Alma's channel, YouTube channel. I'll link her up here or in the description, whichever I decide, whatever tickles my fancy. But I have wanted her for a little bit. I have waited to purchase her, and I finally purchased her, and I started last night. Now, some of you might be shocked, but I decided to stitch this project. This is my one and only counted project that I'm going to be doing full cross on. I have really liked this pattern a ton, and I just think that she deserves it. So I'm going to go ahead and do full cross, 16 count, 2 strands over 1. And if for some reason I just get bored of full cross, I'll just convert it to 10 stitch. But for right now, I'm keeping her full cross. And it's beautiful. The stitches on this are just insane. Now this is the top left corner. Remember, I'm selfie mode. But the stitches are just so flat and so pretty with the 2 strands on 16 count. This is my one and only 16 count project as well. So super excited. This is 254 stitches. I just did this last night because I just could not wait. I was so excited that I purchased her. So anyway, I look forward to seeing more of her. She will be one of my main whips because she's beautiful. So here she be. Again, just started her last night. So all right, next new start. 2 more new starts. So I have been trying, so ever since I saw Ing's stitch, I will put her in the description box down below as well. Ever since I saw her work on her coffee mill hill kit, I've wanted to try a mill hill kit. But I was a little intimidated, and I'm not gonna lie, I was intimidated after receiving this, but my husband got this for me. This is the Flower Shop. It's called Main Street. And it's got flowers right here written down. Sorry, the glare. see if I can get it to zoom or focus. Anyway, there's like a little wagon right here and just a bunch of little flowers. It's super cute. So one thing I didn't know about Mill, because I've never purchased Mill before, is they give you all of their threads all lumped together in a big, basically organized ball. And so that was a little intimidating, trying to go through and sort out what threads were what. So I did do that, and I'm pretty confident I got, you know, everything organized how I needed to. I basically just took one of my plastic ones, thread organizers, wrote the number on there with acid-free tape. That way I could just reuse this because there's not very many colors in it. So I didn't get started on this. I mean, I got started, but I didn't get very far. Just because I just started this, like, Christmas, day after Christmas. So not very far. But here we go. I decided that I am going to go ahead, let me see. I am going to go ahead and, that's not working very well. There we go. I'm going to do it on the perforated paper, or attempt to. And then, you know, if I don't like it, I can go ahead and get he got me another Mill Hill, so I could always convert that one to fabric. But this is, you know, nothing too crazy. But I did want to try it. So now I'm going to have to research how to do beads, because I've never beaded anything before. But yeah, that's that. The beads that come with this kit are so pretty. I'll show you really fast. Again, I've never done any beaded anything. Never done a Mill Hill. So here's the little charm that comes with it. It's a little bead. It's really having a hard time focusing. Come on. Come on. Okay, anyway, it's a little flower. Let's see if I can. Come on, get off my face. Oh, the focus is terrible, but you know, you guys get the idea. Super pretty beads. Love this kit. Super excited. And now that she's all organized and started, I will continue to slowly stitch on her. I don't want to rush on this Mill Hill kit. I just want to kind of work on it as I feel like it. So that's that. Okay, last new start. So I decided to go ahead, and I've looked at this pattern off and on. I have been watching people stitch it off and on, and I really like Pokemon. Not so much that I like play any of the games or anything. It's been a really long time since I played the games, but Pokemon, you know, was my era. Basically, I had huge binders full of Pokemon cards. So I decided to do the Gen 1 stitch along with Rachel Ray. She is doing it for a fundraiser for charity. And Child's Play, I think, is the charity that she's doing it for. And I decided to go ahead and join the stitch along. And I will go ahead and post the stitch along name up here and or in the description box down below. So that way you guys have the information for it. And I'll go ahead and post her channel down below as well. But I went ahead and got started. So one thing about this pattern is that the pattern actually calls for blue. Oh, let me insert the picture right here. So the background, as you can see, is like a baby sky blue. I decided I was going to change my background. Now, I haven't seen anyone do this color background yet, and I've done a fair bit of research on it. But I decided I wanted my background to be green because I really love the plant Pokemon. I do like the water Pokemon as well. But I decided I wanted my background to be green. So I changed it. I just changed it in Pattern Keeper. I researched or just looked at all of my DMC stash. I was like, ooh, let's try that color. Let's try that color. I just kept putting it on the Edit the Legend in Pattern Keeper until I was happy with what I found. So there we go. Now, I do not know all the Pokemon names. It's been way too long since I played Pokemon. However, I will tell you I'm super satisfied with how it's looking out so far. So, haven't gone too far. I think I've worked on this a total of 2 nights and not a ton. I am working on this on a 22 count Hardanger, 2/1 tent. So, now there's one other thing that I also am planning on doing with this one that I don't know if anyone else is doing, and that all of my favorite Pokemon that I stitch, I will also be holding on to one strand of the Krennic, number 4. So the 32 Krennic. That way it will make them almost like it's like a really shiny Pokemon, as if it's a holographic card. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to attempt to do it the best I can. Sometimes the Pokemon show up in random spots that you're like, I don't know if that's what Pokemon that is. But yeah, all of my favorite Pokemon that are in this Generation 1 pattern, I'm going to stitch with Krennic to make it super shiny. So, super excited about that. I don't, or haven't seen anyone else work it up like that, but I decided that that's what I wanted to do. So, there we go. So excited. This one is a free pattern if anyone else wants to join along. I'll post the website and stuff down below. And, yeah. I got started because I saw Stitch Along. I was like, you know what? It is time to just do it. And you know what? I'm so glad I did, because it's like you're stitching a bunch of little mini patterns. Even though it's like one giant pattern, it's huge. It's still gonna be so much fun, because like as soon as I finish this Pokemon and go to the next one, it's like, okay, now I can concentrate on that Pokemon, do another Pokemon, do another one, and it's just like a bunch of little finishes, so you see progress super quickly, and I'm really loving it. It's the most cartoony thing that I am stitching or have stitched so far, so really liking it. And I think that's it for all the updates, everybody. So like I said, I'm going to be posting or recording my WIP Go, so we can go over all of my different projects, and then I'll talk mostly in that video about what my 2022 plans are. I've talked all about it a little bit, but basically I'm doing the same thing that I recently started like in the last month or two, where I'm going to have a set number of WIPs that are my main WIP group. I'm going to have two main patterns that I'm going to be paying attention to that I have to touch like on the regular to get them finished. One will be the Tree Fairy, one will be the Cottage, so that way I can get a couple of finishes in the year, and then that way I can replace those with a couple of others. So I'm going to be doing that, and then I'll have freebie days on Saturday and Sunday, so I can stitch on whatever I want. But we'll talk about as I'm going through my WIP Go, or not WIP Go, I keep wanting to call it WIP Go because Jessie just released her WIP Go numbers, which I'm not participating in because it's too restricting. Anyway, my WIP parade. So I will talk about what patterns will be in what category when I do my WIP parade. So stay tuned for that video. It will be posted probably at the end of the week. And yeah, that's it. So thank you all so much for joining. I hope you have a wonderful New Year's. I hope you had a fabulous holiday. Happy stitching and take care. Bye.